Greetings. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Wellness Wednesday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to talk about something interesting and intriguing. And tonight, we have none other than Dr. LaTanya White in the house. It is truly an honor and a privilege to have her here with me tonight. She is no stranger to Conversations with Nicole, having been on, I think season 2, season 4, and several of the live broadcasts. So this is a true treat. And tonight we're going to be talking about empowering family, prosperity, legacy, opportunity, and equity beyond limits, which is a mouthful. But listen, you're going to get some gems tonight, okay? She is the queen of dynastic wealth. And so we are going to talk all about that and how it relates to your financial wellness and your mental wellness. So tag a friend and let them know they need to be on here tonight. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. This is an interactive live, and your comments, your questions are very much so welcome. This is a safe space for us to engage with one another. So we fully expect to hear from you. If you care about your family, you need to be on here tonight. You need to tag a friend, tell them they need to be on here tonight. And family is not only blood family, but it is also chosen family as well. All right. So I see my blood family is here. My mom is on as usual. You know what? My mom will be right here, Johnny, on the spot. Listen, my number one fan. I appreciate you, Mom, so much. Love you. All right. So I know there'll be others joining us shortly. Let me pause though. So today here in Tallahassee has been an interesting day. We are in the midst of in right now I'm speaking FAMU Nation, right? We are in the midst of selecting a new president for the university. And there are 4 candidates. Each candidate starting from Monday has had a full day's worth of engagement with the board of governors and the leadership and so on and so forth, with the end of the day ending with an opportunity to engage with community members and alumni and famous stakeholders and such. And so today specifically, there is a candidate who is questionable, who is one that we don't necessarily believe supports the mission, the values, the College of Love and Charity that FAMU represents. So today, there has been an outpouring from the community around not going with this particular candidate. And so, our thoughts and prayers are with those who have been on the front line fighting this good fight in order to save FAMU, to save FAMU. So I just wanted to put that out there and ask that we all just continue to lift up the university, the leadership, and all who are making decisions about the future of our great HBCU. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and share some of Dr. White's bio. So Dr. LaTanya White is a trailblazing researcher, award-winning entrepreneur, and the creator of Dynastic Wealth, a holistic framework for wealth literacy that accounts for financial trauma in families who are in their first generation of creating wealth. With over a decade of experience teaching entrepreneurship and 6 years dedicated to studying wealth distribution in America, Dr. White has helped more than 10,000, and I'm one of them, Black entrepreneurs get on the path to economic mobility. Her work on dynastic wealth has been featured in Essence Magazine and recognized by the U.S. Department of State, the U.S. Department of Commerce, and the U.S. Senate under the Biden-Harris administration. Dr. White's mission is to close the wealth literacy skills gap for Black and Brown families around the world, guiding them beyond generational wealth to build enduring family dynasties. Y'all, help me welcome Dr. LaTanya White.
Nicole,
What?
you are too good at this.
Hey, that's what I do.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me back. I
Love
feel like I'm back home.
You are home anytime you want to come home. Just let me know. We'll make
And
it
hey,
happen.
Mom.
Yes, Mom's is on here. She is on here. And we're going to get a few more folks on here in a little bit. But before we get into our conversation, I want you to tell the people who are you, not what you do,
Yeah.
but who are you?
Yes. I think one of the most important things about who I am is a, a young, very young person in my walk with God. I might, I'm a few years shy of half a hundred, as one of my cousins would say.
Half a hundred.
But I'm still very young and building a really deep relationship and walk with Christ. And I think that means a lot about the work that I do. So the oldest of two from my mom, two girls. My sister and I are 11 years apart. So I was going to college when she was going to kindergarten. And,
Mm,
that has a lot. Birth order really plays a significant role in who we are in our identity.
yes.
um, I like to say I'm the favorite niece, grandchild, like all the things, right? But there is so much love that is within our family. Like on any given day, any of us could be the favorite. But I think those are some of the most grounding principles about who I am. Outside of being a Rattler, a mom, a Delta, a native Floridian, a Miami, and outside of those things, I think at my core, a lot of who I am is just about the way that I love and the way that I show up.
Nice. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Yes. So we share a lot of those identities, being from Miami, being a Rattler. And I didn't realize that you and your sister had such distance between you. Me and my
Mhm.
sister are 12 years apart. Yeah, almost 13 actually. So when I was leaving to come to fam, she was like 5, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it has truly been like we are the same. We are only children that share the same set of parents.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Right.
Yeah. Because I had them when they were younger, and she had them when they were older.
And they were two different sets of parents. They were the
This
same people. I'm gonna leave that
different.
right there. I'm
Yeah,
gonna leave
we gonna leave it alone. I know my mom is over there cracking up. Anyway, all right. So we have residual media on. He said, "Hey, before y'all get started, I think the words you're looking for is Marva Johnson." Hell nah.
that
Yes.
to the nah.
Right, to the Nana. I couldn't remember her name, but yes, thank you for that, Mr. Residual Media. All right, so I want to give you an opportunity to just give like just a little snippet about like dynastic wealth. I mean, I know that's what your dissertation was on, but like for folks that are not familiar with that term at all, just give them a little snippet of it.
Right. And I thank you again for that. So dynastic, well, when I went to file the trademark for dynastic wealth, then shout out to Nady Hornsby at NYIP, who is the intellectual property, the IP attorney that I work with to do that. One of the first things that the reviewer came back with and said, like, how is this different from generational wealth? And generational wealth is such a widely used term that it's like, how you gonna register a trademark for water, right? Essentially. So I literally had to unpack as a part of my trademark application the difference between generational wealth and dynastic wealth. And
Nice.
there are three major distinctions for the audience. And one of them is when we talk about generational wealth, we're usually only speaking about money and financial assets. So maybe it's money, it's stocks, it's real estate, it's a home, right? All very, very important things, like literally the foundation of a dynasty. But a dynasty is focused on 5 different forms of wealth.
Okay.
And so, and I'm not talking about um, active income versus passive income. I'm talking about quantitative wealth versus qualitative wealth. I'm talking about financial wealth versus spiritual wealth,
Mm.
and the wealth of knowledge and intellectual wealth and relational wealth. Like, these are things that literally live in us, but
Mm.
we've been conditioned, right? Our families, if you're from a community that's been historically excluded from building wealth, then you probably don't realize that your family recipes are valuable,
Mm.
because we can walk into any grocery store, Stouffer's mac and cheese, Campbell's soup. We can go into a liquor store and Jack Daniels. These are family recipes.
Mm.
Now, how many of them belong to our families but have been monetized by other people is
Mm.
a whole different conversation,
Right.
right?
Right.
Our family recipes, our family name, our family home, like all of those have value that we've been conditioned to think are not valuable, cannot generate wealth for our families, are not important enough to be protected. So I
Mm.
think that's probably the core distinction, not just money, but all of these other forms of wealth that live in us.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for that explanation, because I think, again, it's worthy of having that kind of breakdown.
Sure.
I'm gonna just say I definitely consider you a friend, and when you were here, I really tried to pick your brain as much as I possibly could, because you just were always dropping some gems, and so I feel like I think you were last on maybe last year or maybe the year before last. Anyway, I can't even remember, but like now it's like the next iteration of whatever you have studied, and it's like so fresh. I mean, fresh. So
Thank you.
again, I cannot wait to dive into this conversation.
Thank
So
you.
again, we're talking about empowering family prosperity, legacy, opportunity, and equity beyond limits. So I'm gonna ask you to lead the way. Help us unpack this.
Okay. And I think for context, as we're in Mental Health Awareness Month, on the heels of Financial Literacy Awareness Month, and
Yeah.
that's the intersection that we were looking at, right?
Yes.
Because we have all these people, all these media outlets talking to us about generational wealth, about
Mhm.
financial literacy, about home ownership and personal credit.
Yep.
But is anyone accounting for the trauma that me, my family,
Mm.
my elders, and my ancestors have experienced when it comes to money? How
Mm.
can you talk to me about you need to be building business relation or banking relationships if you're a business owner, except in my history, right? Like, grandma and them didn't put money under the mattresses for nothing.
Mm.
Grandma and granddaddy and our great grandparents, they lived through these very traumatic times where, and I'm talking about the failure of the Freedmen's Bank. Now, this going back 150 years, right?
Mhm.
So it certainly hasn't been our own lived experiences, but there's something to be said. And Dr. Joy DeGruy wrote a whole book about what there is to be said about how trauma is passed down, right?
Mm.
And how that also lives in us.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 1874, not even a decade after Juneteenth, not
Mm.
even 10 years after our elders and ancestors had been freed from slavery. These people amassed $3 million of net worth, like, as a collective. We're
Mhm.
talking about people who were newly free from slavery, and in 10 years have
Yeah.
collectively generated and saved and deposited into somebody's bank $3 million that disappeared.
That's
Like,
amazing. Well, first, it's amazing that they have amassed that in 10 years.
Because $3 million today
Right. Right.
is a lot of
Exactly.
money. But you're
Right.
talking about in 1874. And so the Freedmen's Bank, they were developed as these financial institutions that newly freed slaves, Black and African Americans, could deposit their money into. And that's what they did. They trusted these financial systems, and the money disappeared.
Mhm.
There was no recourse. There are no court cases that they ancestors or descendants have won to recoup their money. So you telling me that I'm supposed to walk into a bank and be okay
Right.
and just trust you with my money? It hasn't been my experience,
Mhm.
but some of us have this like prickly, tingly feeling about I don't know how I feel walking into this financial institution. I don't know how much I can trust you
Mhm.
with what my financial goals are. I don't even know you like that. Like, do you know enough of my story? Do you
Mhm.
have enough sensitivity to the lived experience that I've had? Instead of just selling me the most, the highest commission product. So
Right.
those are some of the things that really we carry with us and we don't always have the language for.
Yeah.
And we don't know why we don't feel psychologically safe in some of these spaces. So again, on the heels of financial literacy awareness, going into mental health awareness, but really still like, how do we take care of our family in
Mhm.
this day and age? Like right now today,
Yeah.
what do we need to be doing to take care of the hearts and souls of our family members? And that's what that's kind of this iteration of dynastic wealth and how family prosperity really lives within that concept.
Yes, it does. So, we have a few folks that have joined us. Donda, who's here in Tallahassee, thank you for being here. Shatea Blunt, please forgive me if I mess up your name. She said, "Trust is paramount." Absolutely, absolutely. I was thinking about relationship. Like, what type of relationship do you have with the Freedmen's Bank, right? Um,
Mhm.
in terms of me giving you my money.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And one of the things that I still have not to this day, I literally have on my very long to-do list is to sit down with bankers and ask them, how do you anticipate, like, how do people build a relationship with you as a banker?
Mhm,
Now, I'm here to tell you, their first response is going to be, well, I'm human too, right?
mhm.
I'm a person first. How would you build a relationship with anyone else?
Right.
But again, we have to be sensitive to what has been the experience of people
Mhm.
trying to build relationships with bankers, with insurance providers,
Mm.
with financial service providers. Yes.
Whew. Yes. Insurance, that's a whole nother, oh my gosh, they gangster, they straight gangster.
Oh my goodness. Now we won't generalize for sure, but there is, of course, like that history, of it being a predatory
Yes,
experience. And that's a part of the thing that lives with us too.
absolutely. Ms. Blunt said for any safety to be established, yes, trust is paramount. So absolutely agreed. Keisha Washington has joined us. Thank you for being here. She's here in Tallahassee as well. All right, so whew, look, that's a whole, we are a third of the show, and that's just that part. All right, so how, what else can we do?
Right. So, a part of the research that I did, as you shared in the introduction, I spent 6 years in my doctoral program
Mhm,
studying our relationships with money, the systems that have gotten us to where we are, as far as the racial wealth gap and
mhm.
all of the things, lower levels of home ownership, Black home ownership, right?
Right.
The failure of the Freedmen's Bank, and this, of course, is not accounting for the impact of chattel slavery.
Mhm.
So I started in 1874. I also, and these are milestones, right? 1874, the failure of the Freedmen's Bank. We have 1896 with Plessy versus Ferguson. That gets into, again, psychological safety, because I don't know why, but I just feel more safe with people that have a shared ancestral narrative, right?
Right.
Um, Getting fast forwarding into the Federal Housing Authority and how they wrote the book on redlining. Literally, there was a manual on
Mhm.
underwriting. But Nicole, to your question, what do? We have to name it. Like
Mhm.
you know, a part of
Yeah.
the work, and I think some of our colleagues in the audience, especially those from the social sciences background, we cannot heal from
Mm.
the things that we are not naming. And
Yes.
in a lot of cases, we don't even know where we've been traumatized.
Yeah.
We don't even know that there needs to be a discussion about why I spend money as soon as I get it.
Mm.
Or on the other end, why I'm hoarding money and am not sharing the blessings that have been bestowed upon me. So
Mm.
the first thing that we have to do is get into a space where our heart is open,
Mm.
right? And that's where I really started to discover financial therapy.
Mm.
So I'm a member of the Financial Therapy Association. It's really about bringing in those therapeutic tools into our relationships with money. Because
Okay.
what I look like talking to my daughter, my aunts and uncles, and preparing my grandchildren for dynastic wealth if I haven't reconciled my own relationship with money.
Mm. That's a good question. Good question. So let me pause you there. Uh,
Mhm.
Donda had a question. She said, "Are those bankers going to be totally transparent and give you the information to succeed?"
We will, we,
We can hope and pray.
exactly. That's all I got. We hope and pray, right? And also, I think there's a lot to be said for holding space for
Mhm.
the best in people,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot to be said for leading with positive expectations, because for those of us that are spiritually grounded, we know that what we think about, we bring about.
Mm. Mm. Say that again. Wait. Say it again. Say it again.
So, for those of us that are spiritually grounded, we know that what we think about, we bring about. So, if we are expecting someone to not be on our side, not be, hoping for the best for us, then we'll more than likely experience that. So, having an open heart, right, leading with grace and leading with the expectation of love and positivity, prayerfully, that is the lived experiences that we'll have.
Okay, so we praying,
Yes.
but what happens when what happens when they don't do right?
Right, right. You're absolutely right. And I think to that end, that's where having our own basis of education comes into place. And that's where, so dynastic wealth, I mentioned financial therapy, it really sits at the intersection of financial therapy
Mm,
and financial education.
yes.
You have to have your own foundation, right? I
Mhm.
think that's been a part of our experiences. We have blindly trusted people, systems, institutions. One of the things that Sparrow and I have been working through lately is trust but verify.
Mm,
So Sparrow, her on Tuesday, she's supposed to be deep cleaning the house, right? As much as a 10-year-old can deep clean the house.
right.
And so I found that I needed to actually leave, because otherwise she'd just be chirping around and talking to
Right,
me and get
right,
distracted.
right.
So I come in and this part of the house, like, my line sight, it looks good, floors gleaming a little bit. But when I go to inspect a bit deeper, I'm, "Hmm, we might have missed a few spots over here." So
Right.
now we're getting into the habit of, I trust that you did your very best. I'm
Mm,
going to verify that it shows up that way.
I
And I
like that.
thank you. That's something that we can lead with as well. Trust
Yeah.
that, this banker, this insurance person, this financial advisor or estate planner has your
Mhm.
best interest at heart, but verify. Who
Yeah.
else have they worked with?
Mm.
What are some of the reviews that you can find? How did you feel when you had like your discovery or your strategy session with them? Trust, but verify.
No, that's good. Real good. We got Mary Delta Life Insurance on. Thank you for being here. She's also here in Tallahassee. She does financial literacy here in Tallahassee. Ms. Blunt said, I find that understanding money as a promissory note and recognize the value of the people first, and then
Mhm.
money as a tool and medium of exchange.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I love that money as a tool.
Mhm.
When my family and I were really doing the work of talking through what dynastic wealth would look like, what are our family values, what do we want documented in our family trust? One of my cousins shared that he said those, similar words that money is a tool.
Mhm.
It's going to just demonstrate, it's just going to amplify who you really are, right?
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
that you're good or evil, and not
Right.
that money is going to make you better or worse. Money's going to amplify who you are at
Mm.
your
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Okay, so, ooh, again, we this is just the tip, just a tip. All right, so yes, trust but verify. I think that's also very good. So we talked about naming it, trust but verify, and then this financial therapy and financial education piece
Mhm,
is really important as well.
mhm,
Um, and I'm curious around kind of those therapeutic tools,
mhm.
but again, I'm gonna let you guide
I
us.
mean, they aren't very different from your any other therapeutic tool, right? Journaling, Sparrow, one of the tools that she learned about was called the rainbow method, where
Mm,
really you're holding space,
okay.
like physically holding space in the moment for how you're feeling. And
Mm,
then you're visualizing this rainbow and all the different colors of the rainbow. So you're focusing on the colors, right? And
mhm,
what that does, it helps you to emotionally regulate.
okay.
So those are still the same and similar tools that we use, but what we have to do is pull it into the context of how we use money. Are we
Mm,
using it as a weapon? Are
mm,
we using it to control? Are we
mm,
using it to liberate? Are we using money to create freedom and space for our friends and for our family members? So, really understanding what's your relationship with money? What's your
mm.
energetic reaction to money when you receive it? One of my mentees and I, we were joking about this Instagram meme, and I think it was like some little puppy, and it said, "I think I'm a diabetic. When I when I have money, I feel good.
Okay.
But when I don't, I feel sad." And so
Diabetic. Okay.
you hear me? I said, wait, this might be me. Let me check myself real quick.
That is
But
funny.
from a financial therapy perspective, how do you navigate when in abundance and in lack, right?
Mm,
This is also in the word because what did Paul say to the Philippians? He said, I know how to have joy
yes.
when there is
Not
abundance
in
in
the
my
face or the
joy.
bound.
Exactly, exactly. And so if your relationship with money is so and your financial and or rather your emotional state is so tied to how abound, right, how much abundance or how abased you feel, then
Mm,
we really have to work through some of those things.
yeah.
Because what happens, if you got all your money in the stock market and in the way the market is so volatile now, how does that make you feel at your core? Like I understand.
Sick.
Exactly. Exactly. But how are you showing up in the world? Right? How is that impacting the work that you're supposed to be doing for the kingdom, for your family? And so that's one of the reasons why we have to be able to separate our money as this measurement for how valuable we are.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. All right. Kesey has joined us. Thank you for being here. She said this is good.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And Coach Anna, who is a grief guru
Mm.
down in Orlando, she said this is really good. I've not thought about money in this context. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Coach Anna, for joining us. So we are a little more than halfway through our conversation. The time is flying right on by. I am here with Dr. LaTanya White, the dynastic wealth guru. And we are talking empowering family, prosperity, legacy, opportunity, and equity beyond limits.
Yes.
It's kind of a combination of financial literacy and mental health and wellness.
Mhm.
April was Financial Literacy Awareness Month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are combining the two, talking about
And June, we got Juneteenth coming up. And
Juneteenth coming up.
look,
Yes. All,
we got
all
to do our work before we get around the kinfolk. You know what I'm saying?
we do, we do, we do, we do. Okay. So, all right. So some journaling maybe around, finances and I'm sure there's some exercises or something out there that some prompts that can help people along the way.
Absolutely. So the Financial Therapy Association provides, some resources and everything like that. I can certainly curate some. A lot of what I do is really just helping people name their experiences, right?
Mhm.
So what's one of your most concrete and clear memories of money as you were growing up, good or bad?
Right.
I know for me, I remember wanting some little baby alive or something, girl. And my mom was like, what? What? I don't know but you are mistaken. But
Wouldn't
I ended up getting that doll. And
Okay.
so, Nicole, one of the things that I recognized, like my grandmother raised me, my mom worked two jobs
Mhm.
for a lot of those formative years.
Yeah.
But one of the things I recognize is I never wanted for anything materially
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
my mom was always out working to get it, you
Got
know? And
Mhm.
so now, like, gift giving that is not my love language because what I realized for me was that the sacrifice she made was being there physically,
Mm.
was me having that quality time. So, n- n- for whoever's listening, this is not to say don't give me no gifts.
Don't get it twisted.
Right? But I recognize that the way that I express love is
Mm.
through quality time,
Got
through acts of service. And so when we're thinking about what have been our experiences and what was the narrative, what was the story that we told ourselves growing up about money, because that
Mm.
is going to translate and be transferred down the line in our families as well.
Yeah, those money scripts are very important. When I was working on getting my I'm gonna call it financial literacy certification, although that's not the right term for it.
Mhm.
Man, they talked about those money scripts so much in terms of just what we tell ourselves about money in our heads based on either what we saw or didn't see, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So we just don't realize the impact that all of that has on us as adults.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. And right while we're talking about family and getting ready for family reunion and
Mm.
dynastic wealth family retreat season, how that how we transfer that to our children, to our
Mm.
nieces and nephews, our godchildren, and to our community, right?
Yes.
Because the one other distinction between generational wealth and dynastic wealth is how intentional and strategic bringing the family into the wealth preservation process is. So with generational wealth, it's like, okay, let me build wealth, right? Let me make sure that I have this in place, that I put it in a trust, that I name the beneficiary, but it's I,
Mhm.
right? with dynastic wealth, we're building the family identity. We're
Mm,
documenting the family values. We're
yeah.
creating a family trust. And so
Mm,
it's much more collectivistic, which is our cultural heritage and
mm,
not what society has been putting on us.
yeah. No, that's real good. Really, really good. All right. Brittany has joined us. Hey, Brittany, thank you for joining us. Karen, she said dollar betted. Yes, that is too funny. I love that. And Keith said yes, yes, yes. So, ooh, I don't know. How y'all feeling? I need y'all to check in because this is a lot. It's a little heavy. It's a little heavy, and not in a bad way, but just to think about this. I mean, these are some new concepts for some of us, and so I want y'all to check in the comments. Let us know how you feeling about what you hearing, how you processing all of this, and you may need a little more time than this, hour that we have here. But let us know if you feel comfortable enough to share. Let us know. So, oof.
So I'll touch on a little bit about the beyond limits
Okay.
part of things.
Okay.
Um, Again, thinking about generational wealth and the financial assets, the home, the stock,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's the cash value life insurance, or the business, right? How do we go beyond the limits of those things? Because again, we're talking about these other forms of wealth, this spiritual wealth. Like, who are we as a family? We're going to go beyond the limits of money and really get into the heart of who we are as a family, right? Not just
Mm-hmm.
who are you, Nicole, but who are you in relation to. And I still count it as such a blessing to have met your son and being in the room with you and your mom when we were at the African American Museum a couple summers
Yes.
ago,
Yes.
right? And who are you all as a unit? One of these things with building out the family constitution is
Mm-hmm.
documenting your family story so that your grandchildren and their children and on down the line, they know who they are, right? They aren't seeking their identity from whatever is going to be the social media outlet of their time,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is documented evidence that you all own, that you all control, that no presidential administration can erase or
Mm-hmm.
say is fake. Nobody can control that
Yeah.
because you have it in a legal vehicle, a trust, right? You
Mm-hmm.
use your family story to inform future generations about who they are. They don't have to go seeking out their identity. They have the foundation of who they are. So we will go beyond the limits because money can't tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
matter how much money you have in the bank, nothing can tell you that.
Yeah.
um, the Rockefeller family. A lot of us associate wealth and generational wealth with the Rockefeller family. You think them people just born into the name and don't know how they're supposed to move through the world?
Mm.
Nah, it's not going down like that, right?
Not at all.
So these families, I joke and talk about no more family reunions, but I be serious
Mm-hmm.
because the family reunion, yes, it's communal, it's social, it's our connection, but it does not necessarily prepare the next generation for how to move through the world, how to
Mm.
protect the valuable assets, whether they be financial
Right.
or qualitative. We aren't taught how to do those things at a traditional family reunion. So the format of a dynastic wealth family retreat brings these things together. We go beyond the limits of you got your t-shirt, like you coming to the cookout. We go
Right.
beyond the limits of those kinds of things and really prepare these next 2 and 3 generations for what they are to be inheriting and also creating.
Whoo, that's so good. So I'm really wanting to get there with my family. Last year we celebrated 50 years of gathering. And wow, I just think about if we had the mind to
Mhm.
start back in 1974 to establish these types of trust and treaties with one another. Where would we be? But I'm really hopeful that we will get there at some point. Um, and right now I'm kind of speaking off of our some of our previous conversations of um establishing like a family constitution and things of that nature. So woo, anyway, all right, I'm gonna try not
Yeah,
to go
but
get too
no,
far
that's
because we
good.
got a lot of comments and I want to definitely give them an opportunity to.
Yes, please. Oh, Keisha got me cracking up, but
Okay,
yeah.
is my local comedian right here. All right, Miss Blunt said I love the context, but a little distracted by the term therapy as a practicing therapist. Okay, could you explain that a bit more?
I'm not sure what part of the
So I think the financial, just the idea of financial therapy. Mm,
Gotcha. Okay. And I completely respect, right, as a practicing therapist and using that language as it relates to money and things of that nature. So I think though you might even have a deeper appreciation for what financial therapy is because you have that background. You
mm,
know the freedom that you're creating for your clients, the transformation that
yeah.
you're creating for the people that you serve, Miss Blunt, and then how that impacts the communities that they live in. Now,
Mm-hmm.
let's put money on top of that,
Yeah.
right? If we can create some liberation for those clients and the impact that will have on their families and communities, then we may find that we're making a little bit more progress in other contexts of our lives and
Mm,
not just, how I relate, how am I showing up at work? How
yeah.
am I showing up and relating to the kids? But how am I teaching and transferring this knowledge about how you use your gifts, how
Mhm.
you monetize your gifts,
Yeah.
how you transfer the wealth that's coming from using those gifts?
Yeah. No, that's good. A few more folks have joined us. Sharice, who is, I don't know if she's in Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta today, but it's all good. Thank you for being here. Lisa, who's here in Tallahassee, appreciate it. Kesey, this is my type of conversation. Yes, I'm so proud of you, Nicole. This is really good. Thank you, ladies. You are welcome. Yes, and Keisha, you better not tell them black people they can't have no family reunion. We just flipping it a little bit. All right. We not
Uh,
so concerned about the t-shirt and what you're gonna have on your plate. Okay.
but listen, Keisha is telling the truth because the first time I mentioned that, I probably would have a text message in my phone. My
Mhm.
auntie was like, I basically almost got disowned for a little while. So, telling the truth.
Like, what's wrong with her?
Well, don't come then.
Yes. All right. Miss Blunt, she said, I love that conceptualization of a trust as a way to help establish generational identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Malcolm has joined us. Thank you for being here. Donda said in 1974, we were witnessing the insurance man coming by to collect that payment. We have a long way to go, but it is possible. Listen, and the insurance man used to come by my grandma's house and she would go to Bosom National Bank and pull
Mhm.
out $5 to give him every week. Okay. I'm
Yes.
just saying. Oh my gosh. All right, Coach Anna. Money is a difficult conversation. It brings up similar emotions as planning wills and a trust. Absolutely, it does. But it's a conversation that needs to be had, just like end of life planning. Like those
Yeah.
are the conversations we need to be having. So it's like Donda said, we got a long way to go, but if we don't take that first step, then the second step, then we will not get there.
Yeah.
Will
Yeah.
not get there.
Absolutely.
My cousin Fred is on in San Antonio. Thank you for being here, FLE. I apologize for just sending it to you, but look, this is what I'm trying to do at the reunion. All right. All right.
Cousin, yes, cousin.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Keisha, what's your relationship with me to even think about leaving you anything? Relationships. Woo.
Keisha is coming with the fire because that's a good question. One
Is
of the things, if I could, just hold a little bit of space
Yeah, sure.
address that is, and again, because I'm like, I led, when you asked me who am I
Mhm.
led with my Christian identity, right?
Mhm.
So there is scripture that talks about holding, right, the sins of the father, holding the children accountable for the
Mhm.
sins of the father. What? But a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Come
Now,
on.
when we're talking about dynastic wealth, remember I said we're talking about the family. I'm not
Mm.
talking about your household. I'm talking about your family. And I know that we don't all have the most healthy, we don't all have the most forthcoming, we don't all have the most positive relationships with our family. As a matter of fact, we might have our first frenemies might be right in the family.
Oh, listen. Did you come to the reunion?
Listen,
I'm just saying, because some of them
but
cousins is not, boy.
I,
Anyway, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
I get it. But there is still, when we think about where our ancestors have come, what they've come from, you think that they want this to be their legacy?
Mm.
That I feel some type of way about you and you feel so, you think they lost them blood, sweat, and tears for
Mm.
us to be fighting like this? I
No.
mean, I truly, truly, I cannot be convinced that for
Mhm.
what our ancestors, what our people have been through, that this is what they want for us and that what they want from us for each other.
Yeah. Ooh, all right. My mom said my nephews Kai and Kaden are here. Shout out to the Two Live crew. Love y'all. So, yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't think that our ancestors,
Yeah.
endured all that they endured for us to be cutting up like this.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
we gotta do better. We gotta do better.
Yes, and Donda with the insurance man. Now, if that's not a classic memory in Black families and Black communities, I think one thing that we have to prepare ourselves for, if for those of us that are not already operating in this space, is just being ready for what technology and
Mm,
AI, how
mhm,
those are going to change some of those core memories and core experiences. So
yeah.
now, insurance products are not necessarily, or I'll say it this way, what we know, what we've been exposed to by
Right.
and large about insurance products, and I think Mary can speak a little bit to this. That's, if that's even scratching the surface,
Mhm.
because what we have been most informed about are term insurance policies that
Mm,
only have a death benefit.
right.
Like, there's only value in this when you die.
Mhm.
But the way these people are using insurance for living benefits, for creating their own family banks,
Mhm.
the cash value of those index universal life insurance products are, that's where they go to get the money for down payment on the home,
Mm,
to purchase the vehicles, to pay a college tuition bills. They don't have these financing troubles because they are putting that money in insurance products that have living benefits.
mm,
But to Keisha's point, me and my relationship with you, I don't have nothing for you, right?
right.
So that's where that therapy comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got to work through these issues if we gonna get along, especially about this money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So here go my comedian. She going to my family reunion to get her man. Y'all just embrace me. We got hugs for you, Keisha. We got hugs for you. So just talk a little bit about, and the non-blood family, and
Mm.
how your family, when you came together to get your dynastic wealth plan together, you all define who family was, right?
Right. And we're still in the process. So, and that's one thing that is really important for me to say. We have been working on this diligently for probably 3.5 years,
Yeah.
on a weekly basis,
Mm.
for lack of a better term. And then as I was in transition, relocating to the DC area, we weren't working as much or as often. So now we're at a place where, okay, the estate planner is ready to create the next draft of the trust, right? But
Right.
to your question, Nicole, one of the things that we had a discussion about was who is eligible to be a beneficiary,
Right.
and how does someone become eligible to receive a distribution from the family trust? Like,
Mhm.
did you have to put in on it, or did your parents have to put in on it?
Right.
Where we came to, where we landed, was really looking at the descendants of my grandmother, of the
Mhm.
matriarch of our family.
Right.
So we talked about, if you are a family member by blood, marriage, or adoption,
Mhm.
you're eligible for a distribution. Let me say it this way: you are eligible to apply
Right. Eligible to apply.
to apply for a distribution, but that's just our family.
Right.
Now, when I do something for me, then it'll include Sparrow's godparents, right? And then maybe their descendants,
Mhm.
because we hear the stories all the time about the little old white lady that left her estate to the cat, right? That left her estate to a university, to her alma mater. So you can name your beneficiaries no
Mhm.
matter who or where they are.
Yeah.
You just have to have agency and, collaboration with your found family or
Mhm.
your blood family.
Okay. Nice. Nice,
Mhm.
nice, nice. No, I think that that is, just worth noting because, some people either that their blood family, they're very estranged from them, or they don't have it.
Yeah.
They just don't have it. And so, I just want folks to kind of think beyond, just blood family.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. And especially because not every relationship is repairable, right? No matter how much work you do, no matter how much work they do, we ain't gonna like each other, right? We don't
Yeah.
always get along, like, because we are human. So there is still, and this is especially important for people who don't want to have kids,
Mhm.
who don't have kids. And
Right.
so when I say, because I get that question often, one of the things that I share is dynastic wealth is really about how are you going to make this world a better place in a way that's measurable,
Mm.
right? Because
Mhm.
we could talk until the cows come home
Yeah.
about this is what I did. But how do we know that? And so we think about what are the institutions, who are the people, who are the families that had an impact on you, that you want to create something better for them.
Yeah.
And that can be a beneficiary to the trust, in the dynasty that you're building.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Keisha said in-laws have several seats.
Keisha,
Uh,
the same
yeah.
Keisha that said she was coming to find a man. Now, hold on
Yeah,
now.
it's the same one. It's the same one. Yeah. See, you saw the connection there, right? You peeped it. Oh my gosh. All right. Melissa Como is on. She's a clinician out of the Orlando area. She said this is an informative discussion. We need more conversations like this. Thank you, Melissa. All right. Karen, she said, shaking my head. I'm still waiting on my nieces and nephews' information to list them as beneficiaries, but their mommies are slow in providing it. Youngest is 3, oldest graduates next week. Wow. All right. Wait, you muted. Are you talking? Yes, you muted. It's
Um,
okay.
I think for that one about the nephew's information, I think it may depend on what type of vehicle you're
Okay.
using. like if it's something that's monetary or it needs to be deposited into their bank, or you're creating like a stock account or something for them, then that's what you're probably, it sounds like you might be waiting on their personally identifiable information. You might want to look at something that doesn't require the PII information or personally identifiable information. And so in that case, it might be something where you're working with an estate planner to create a trust for them. And then you can list their names as beneficiaries, and then whatever the conditions that, maybe when they turn 18 or they graduate from high school, those
Right.
kinds of things.
Okay. She said understood. Thanks. Okay, cool. All right. AK is on with us. Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate you. And Donna said this is all awesome and very helpful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, gosh, the time has come to a close. I can't.
Yes.
No, it's just too soon. So many more things to talk about. But I'm gonna give you an opportunity to give some closing remarks
Yes.
and have you tell the folks how they can connect with you.
Ooh, well, I guess the last thing that I like to say, last thing I like to leave you with for now is to remember that wealth is your birthright. The world will tell you you have no inheritance that's waiting for you, but wealth is your birthright. And by that same token, we have, I like to think, a responsibility to make sure that other people in our family know that too. Um, I'm here to help, right? I accepted the mission, I accepted the calling to change the narrative in our families, to help give us the tools to do our healing so that we can build wealth in all its forms. We can document our spiritual wealth and the wealth of knowledge and invest in each other intellectually so that we can build our family dynasties. I think Nicole is going to share. Yes, my number. Text me your questions. Let me, put you in touch with the estate planners that I trust, that I work with. Answer your questions. Let's build these dynasties.
All right, come on and build the dynasties, y'all. Come on, we got to do it. Empowering family prosperity. Who could use some family prosperity out there? I need to know. Let me know in the comments. Look at Torio.
Right, right. Amen. Amen.
Ain't nobody said nothing about a part two. Here you go. Here you go. No, but you are right, Torio. We do need a part two. So, hopefully Dr. Wright will be able to squeeze me in.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Because look, this a TEDx speaker. Look, she award winning. Look, all of that. So yes, look, Torio. Look at Torio, part 3. You know what, brother? Can we just get the part 2 going? All right. Fred, yes, yes, yes. Wealth is my birthright. Love it. Miss Jeanette down in Miami Gardens. Mind opening. Wonderful, Miss Jeanette. So Miss Jeanette is one of my mom's high school classmates. Northwestern class of 63 on the line. All right. Terrell, instead of the Friday fish fry, these are the type of informational sessions we need at the family reunion. Yes, we need financial Friday instead of fish fry
Ooh,
Friday.
yes.
Maybe we could do both fish fry and finances on Friday.
We can.
Yes, yes. All right, Mom. Yes, we need more of this information and discussion. Thank you, Mom. Miss Latina, good evening. Right on time. Yes, yes, yes. Next level. Appreciate it. Yes, wonderful. So, for those of you who may be new to the platform, I got to invite you to subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. We're here Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Focus on mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities. Tonight it's been financial therapy and financial education, emerging of the two. And yes, I'm going to take you up on your offer to pull some tools together, Dr. White, that we can share with the viewers that they can utilize to get started on this journey of empowering family prosperity. So we just planted some seeds and maybe watered some tonight, but let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep it going. Please share this link with somebody, tag them that you think can benefit from this conversation, because it's an important one and one that we really need to be having with one another. All right. So let me see. I see some more comments. Probably Keisha cutting up.
Right, right.
Don't mess with my fish, Terrell. Oh my gosh, I can't. You know, family, y'all so special.
I love it.
So special, so special. All right. So what do you have coming up, ma'am? I'm sure you talking somewhere or presenting somewhere. What's going on?
Let's see. Well, there are, some talks that are scheduled, but I'm most excited, Nicole, about finally getting to a place where I've really kind of captured dynastic wealth in a way that more people can access it. So you were
Okay.
talking about, I wish I could get my family to do these kinds of things, and I actually am working on the products. So one of the things I'm so excited about. The Dynastic Wealth Green Print Tracker. So it's
Oh,
essentially a 12-week program that you and your family would go through. It's a checklist.
okay.
It who you're gonna assign it to in conversation with them. You ain't gonna just put their name on that thing, right? You're gonna have a talk with them about it.
We are.
But it has all of the steps. I literally went back through all of the meetings that my family and I had had over 3.5 years. And I
Mhm.
was able to distill it down to a 12-week process. So
Wow.
I will make sure to share that with you once it's ready.
Please.
I will.
Yes. Yes. Gotta have it. Got to
Absolutely.
have it. Yeah, no, that's great. I feel like, sometimes we just need a guide, right? To
Yes.
help us, make our way through and get there. So I'm glad you have developed this. So so I hope you all benefited from it. Some of y'all have commented, others of you have been quiet, but I really do hope you have benefited from it and will keep this conversation going. So we will try our best to get Dr. White back on for part
I'll
two.
be here. I'll be here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, good people. Y'all be safe out there. And wait a minute. Sharice popped up. She said, as always, a great show. Prepare things differently financially for my granddaughter. Love that. Yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. Donda, I need that guy as well.
Mhm.
The guide. The
Mhm.
guide. Okay, guy.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. All right, Donda. We will definitely make sure to keep you posted. Terrell, this
Mhm.
has been amazing stuff. This is a conversation we definitely need to keep going. Financial Fridays, yes. Creating generational stability through financial literacy. There you go, Terrell. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. All right. Torio, awesome conversation. Thank you, Torio. All right, very good. All right, y'all. Well, y'all be safe out there, and we will see y'all next time.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye, cousins.